We are live with Megan Hatch. Welcome to the QRX Broadcast Company Special, The Great War and Why America Got Involved. We here at QRX believe all Americans should know why the United States joined the Great War. This is what this series is all about. Now we go to Michelle News for part 1 in our in-depth series.
Thanks, Megan. Here we have a model of a typical German U-boat. These ships are dangerous because, in addition to being underwater so nobody can see them, they don't tend to surface often. This is because only a few punctures can sink a U-boat. It is a given law of war for ships to give warning that they are going to sink a ship before firing, so passengers can make an attempt to flee. U-boats ignore this law and give ships no warning before torpedoing it to avoid being sunk themselves. This results in innocent people being slaughtered. Let's watch this demonstration of a U-boat attack. And the boat is gone. If U-boats surface like they are supposed to, this would happen.
I see a U-boat! Fire at will!
The U-boat is now sunk.
Thanks for that report, Michelle. Now, more reasons why the U.S. entered the Great War. One more reason is the Zimmermann telegram. In January 1917, the German Foreign Minister, Mr. Arthur Zimmermann, sent a telegram to the German ambassador in Mexico about arranging an alliance between Germany and Mexico. It said that in the event of the U.S. joining the war, Mexico would help the Germans defeat the United States, and in turn, Mexico would regain New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, and the territories lost to the Americas in the mid-1800s if the Central Powers won. That is so rude of them. Because the British intercepted the telegram, Mexico did not receive the message and fortunately did not join Germany and the Central Powers. This telegram was published on March 1st, 1917, and the American public yearned for war even more.
U-boats. Just the very word strikes fear into our own hearts. They are German submarines, and they cause terror on the high seas. They sank the Lusitania and countless other ships. U-boat is slang for the German Unterseeboot, meaning underwater boat.
The Germans were the first to see promise in U-boats. See, no one else really did because they were incredibly slow, going about 16 miles per hour, and one shot, they were down. The Germans did not play by the rules of war. They wanted to blockade Britain, so on February 15th, they announced that they would sink any boats leaving or coming to a British port. And the Americans warned this about them. They said, no, we're cutting off diplomatic relationships. We're not doing anything with you if you resume this. But they did resume it. They didn't listen, and 3 months later, the Lusitania was sunk.
A seemingly innocent passenger ship that secretly carried war weapons was sunk without warning by one torpedo fired by a U-boat. That torpedo set off another explosion that caused the ship to sink in 20 minutes. More than 1,000 people died. 128 of them were Americans. A warning was issued in the New York Times the day the Lusitania was set to sail on May 1st, 1915, but most ignored it. On May 7th, the Lusitania was gone.
A lot of ships were sunk after this, like the Sussex, which was a French passenger ship, and when the U-boat torpedoed it, a lot of Americans got hurt. So Germany, being kind of sheepish and saying, oh my gosh, if America enters a war on the wrong side, we're going down. So they offered, as the Sussex Pledge, which offered to compensate the families of the American victims, and they promised to warn all neutral ships before firing, but they didn't, and all the broken promises piled up until finally we declared war. And, actually what I think started this, which really just pushed it to the edge, other than the Lusitania, was they sunk 4 U.S. ships in 1917, and that's what I think really plummeted it to the point of war.
There was turmoil in Russia, a revolution of the people against their monarchy. The chaos of the strikes and riots led to the Russian withdrawal of the war. President Wilson, already siding with the Allies, knew that without someone to fill the void spot that Russia had left, the Central Powers would win. When the people finally overthrew the monarchy and replaced it with one where there were elections, Wilson considered the Allies were fighting a war of democracy against one person ruling with unlimited power, or an autocracy. The time was right for America to go to war. Even though he didn't want to, he asked Congress for a declaration of war against Germany on April 2nd, 1917. Now to Megan with live footage in Russia.
War in Russia. People going crazy on the streets. Nice to meet you, Robin.
Same to you, Mr. Friedman. As the owner of a toaster factory, how has business changed for you?
We used to produce hundreds of high-quality Friedman toasters, but have decided to cash in on the war and help out our country too.
What do you mean?
We now produce guns and ammo for the soldiers, not a toaster in sight. The government buys them in droves, and we feel good about supporting America in the war.
Has anything happened to your workforce?
Yes, many of the men that worked here got caught in the draft and went overseas. Now mostly women work here. Would you like to see some pictures?
Sure. Pleasure talking to you, Mr. Friedman. Good luck to you in your business.
Thank you, Robin.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Short, and I'm here on the White House lawn with our president, Mr. Woodrow Wilson.
Thank you, Stephanie.
So, Mr. Wilson, we all knew that you were very timid to enter the war. Could you give us your reasons?
Sure. Well, first, my campaign slogan was "He kept us out of the war," so I really feel like a hypocrite now doing that. And I think that war is just a bad thing in general for Americans, all the death and destruction. And when I announced that Germany, I was going to declare war on Germany, and I heard the cheering, I was shamed, because to me that's like a death sentence to our boys. And then, I had to do it. Really, we remain neutral any longer.
What forced you to enter the war?
Germany and all undescribably stupid things they're doing to hurt us. And, okay, so they're U-boats, those darn U-boats. I can't believe it. They're sinking everything in sight. It's so outrageous. Oh, it makes me mad. And then, everything. And marching through neutral Belgium. I can't believe it. Marching through neutral Belgium. It's so small, it just could have gone around. All those lives wasted. And, back to the U-boats. They sank the Lusitania, and that's terrible in itself, just really bad. Then they sank those 4 U.S. ships, and 36 people died. That was the icing on the cake. I can't believe it. Germany was so terrible. And all the weapons that they're using, man, the chlorine gas, mustard gas, tanks, machine guns, airplanes, U-boats, you name it. It just speeds up the killing process. I can't stand it. And all the death and destruction, I really hate it. And I didn't like sending us to war. But if it means a safer America and more democracy across the world, I have no regrets on sending us to the war.
And what about the Zimmerman note? Did that have any, voice in how you went to war?
Yeah, the Zimmerman note! Yeah, imagine the Germans sending this note to Mexico, which is our neighbor, and saying that they're going to resume unrestricted submarine warfare, and they're going to request an alliance with Mexico. That would put us in just so much danger. And that was a really dumb thing for them to do. I'm so glad that the British intercepted that and published it in American newspapers, and everybody saw it, so Germany can be disgraced forevermore.
That was quite brilliant, Mr. Wilson. Now, we are about to run out of time. Any last words before we go? Support your country, Americans, because the war is so important to maintaining American pride. If you can't join the Army, buy Liberty Bonds. Every Liberty Bond you buy is a shot at a U-boat. So, really, the war is so important, and we must support it. We have to be proud to be Americans and be very glad that we're wearing that title. We are powerful and we are strong. Remain strong, Americans. God bless America! Thank you, Mr. Wilson. And now, back to Megan.
That was a great program.
Yeah, it was.
Well, thanks for watching our 5-part series, The Great War and Why America Got Involved. Join QRX Broadcasting all the time for reliable news and information.
QRX, signing out.
Bye!
Wait, do you want adventure?
How about excitement?
What about the thrill of your life?
Be a hero. Join the U.S. Army today and defend your homeland.
And if you can't join the Army, buy Liberty Bonds.
Conserve your food.
Plant a victory garden.
And every Liberty Bond you buy is a shot at a U-boat.
So Uncle Sam wants you to join the U.S. Army.
There's turmoil in Russia.
There was turmoil. Ah!
Cut it out. I'm serious, guys. Let's just get this. Forget it.
I've been under there for an hour! I am so tired! I've been under there for an hour! We did not get an A!
And if you can't join the Army, buy Liberty Bonds.
Conserve your food.
Plant a victory garden.
What are you doing? Hey, do you want me to hold up this book so you can film on us?
I can't read it.
I'll hold it like right here.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm still filming.
I can't.
Stop! Alright, how about